everyone, welcome back. It's me again, because this is my channel, so, I mean, obviously, what do you expect? So this probably isn't the best time to film a video, considering I look like hot garbage because I've been at work all day, and then I take 2 buses home, and my life is very sad, but it's my own fault because I do absolutely nothing to try to improve it, because why would I improve when I can just continue to be the family disappointment? So I was at the grocery store today because I'm an actual human worm baby that needs things, and it reminded me of this really weird experience I had, and I knew I could not wait to get home because I just had to tell you guys this story because oh my freaking god. This has to take the cake for the wildest shit that has ever happened to me in my entire life. This may be, like, more, I don't know, obscure and insane than even the Hot Topic demon thing, if you saw that video. If not, I'll link it below. Whatever. Anyways, this is hands down, like, this is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Because unlike every other experience I've had in my life, where even like the Hot Topic demon thing, it could just be me, you know, because I got some stuff rattling around up there. I got some doors I don't want to open. They're nailed shut. We're good. But this was something that it was physical. It was tangible. It was a real life experience. Like, the kind of experience where you ever go through something that's so, like, up that you have to call your mom. Like, it was one of those. I literally had to call my mom and be like, what just happened? So, I was at the grocery store. The very same grocery store I was at today. It is right by my house. It is a Kroger. I think Kroger is like a nationwide thing. I'm not 100%. I know for a fact it's like on the East Coast. I don't know if they have Kroger other places. I'm sure they do. I have no concept of things that exist and where things are. I know nothing. I'm dumb. I stay in my house. I leave the house only for work and essentials, and I have no life outside of that, and that's why I'm here with you guys. So I'm at the store one day, right? I don't know what I was doing, like, store things. Who knows? Anyways, so I am, like, walking towards the checkout, right, and I see somebody that looks familiar. And this somebody familiar wasn't just somebody familiar, this guy was my stepdad, my mom's husband. Like, straight up, no doubt, that is my stepdad. You know when you see somebody and they're in your family because you're like, hey, that's my family. Like, you're gonna recognize your relatives, right? Like, no question, you know your relatives better than anybody. Now, maybe if you're out and about and you see somebody and you think they're like a regular customer in the store you work in or something, like, you might think it's them, but you don't know them that well. Like, you're not sure. But not your family. Like, you know the people in your family. You grew up around them. You've known them. You're, like, I know I'm over-explaining with this, but, like, I just need you to know, like, where I am. I need you on this level that I am on, because you know your family, alright? I cannot stress this enough. So, I see my stepdad at the checkout, right? And I was heading that way, and I wasn't quite done shopping. I had a couple more things to grab, but I'm like, oh, like, this is awesome, because I've fucking love my stepdad. He's awesome. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go up and say hi to him. So I walk up behind him, and I expect him to turn around, because you know when someone's like walking up behind you, like, even if you don't really hear him, like, you can kind of feel it. Like, you can feel that exchange of energy and science and atoms. I don't know, but you can kind of feel people walk up behind you. So I'm expecting him to turn around and be like, oh, hey, what's up, you know? But he didn't, which is fine. And I'm like, okay, you know, the man's in his 40s, like, maybe he's just not paying attention, like, he can't hear me, I don't know. So at this point I'm like, okay, he probably just doesn't know I'm here. So I kind of, like, walk around, like, he's standing right here, and I'm kind of, like, walking around him, like, trying to get in his, like, sight, you know, like, so I don't want to, like, startle him or anything. So I'm, like, kind of, like, trying to get in his field of vision, and he kind of, like, looks over at me, and at this point I know he sees me, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? and he's not saying anything. And it was so weird because I'm like, this man that helped raise me is like kind of giving me this like weird side eye, like I'm a stranger, you know, but not even like the kind of side eye that a stranger would give you if you're coming up into their personal space and I'm like right here and it's like really weird and uncomfortable. It wasn't even like that. It was kind of like the kind of look you would give somebody that you've met like once or twice but you don't really know them. Like you're gonna be polite and kind of give that little like, you know, the smirk. You know the smirk. We all do the smirk. He gave me like the smirk, but it was different. It was like not even that kind of smirk. It was eerie. I don't know how to explain it. It was like he knew something about me that I didn't know. This is probably making no sense, but it was weird. It was like that person you kind of know but not really kind of smirk, but also he has like Jeffree Star voice notes, like he's ready to blackmail me. Was that a bad joke? Was that in bad taste right now? I don't know. I'm telling a story. Just listen to the story. So he gives me that look, and this is the part that's so weird because now I'm seeing the man's face. I am right here. Like I am closer to him than I am to this camera right now. I'm right here. I can see his face, and I shit you not, it's my stepdad, no doubt. Same exact face, same color eyes, same nose, same face shape, same haircut, same exact glasses. That's not even the kicker. He's same height, wearing the same clothes that my stepdad would wear. Now granted, I mean, he's just gonna wear like some regular like cargo shorts and a t-shirt. Like he's a dad, he wears dad clothes, you know, but so that's not really anything crazy, but it's just at this point there's too many things there. The checklist is right here in front of me and I got all the boxes ticked. Okay, everything's crossed off, it's all there. Down to his purchases. Guys, he was buying cat food, and not just any cat food, he was buying the exact same cat food that my stepfather has bought for all 10 million of his cats for like a billion years, you know, like the same. I cannot even stress this enough. Every single detail. I need you to believe me right now. I need you right here with me. Every single thing about this man was exactly the same. And so that's why it was so weird, because it's not even like I could mistake somebody else for one of the father figures in my life. Like that was 110% him. And it was so weird. So I'm looking at him trying to like figure out why he's not speaking to me. And I even, after all this happens, because this went over, all these thoughts are going through my brain, and it happens over the span of like 3.5 seconds, but it felt like a freaking eternity because this is weird, right? So I kind of look at him and he's looking at me and he gives me that weird little like smirk I was talking about, and I was like, hey, and he's kind of ignoring me, so I walk over to the other side and I'm like, hey, and this whole thing is like super obnoxious, right, of me, like I'm totally making an ass out of myself because obviously this person doesn't know me. But I'm confused because it's my stepdad. Like, what is going on? And I could not get him to respond to me. I literally was all up in his business trying to get this man to speak to me, but he would not speak to me. What is going on? Like, I am so genuinely confused at this point. So finally, I can't get him to say anything to me. Like, he is not even... But the thing that's also weird is as I was, like, trying to get him to speak to me or, like, get his attention, first of all, if you're a complete stranger, would you not, like, stop and be like, who are you? Like, what are you doing? Get out of my personal space. Like, would you not stop and be like, obviously you're mistaking me for someone else that I am not. Could ya 6 feet, girl, 6 feet. Like, what? It was so bizarre. And so he's not recognizing me, but at the end, and because he gave me the smirk, so he knows I'm at least like a human person. And then he kind of gives me like this weird little nod, like kind of like the what's up nod, but not quite. But the thing was, it was kind of like the physical mannerism of it was also that of my stepdad, like something my stepdad would have done, you know. And at this point it's just too weird. It's so weird. Even like talking about it now, I'm like literally shaking because it was that freaking bizarre. So at this point, nothing's clicked in my brain. Like, this is not a stranger. I am trying to figure out why he's not talking to me. So then I call my mom. And the thing is, they live like far away. They live like not far away. It's like 20 minutes or whatever, but To me, that's far. They live like a couple towns over or whatever, and but sometimes, like on the way back from work or whatever, like they do stop at the store by my house. So I thought maybe he just happened to be in the neighborhood, he needed some cat food, so he stopped there. And so at this point, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So I'm calling my mom, and I'm like, you know, is he at the Kroger by my house? And she's like, no, he's like in the living room. And I'm like, are you goddamn like, at this point, I'm freaking out because she has tabs on him. She knows where he is. She's looking at him. I am also looking at him. So what the hell is going on? Like, what is happening? I am so confused. Like, that, you cannot look at this man and tell me he is not my stepdad. I know my stepdad, and that is him. Like, how is he in? So that was so bizarre. Like, the second I told mom, like, he's here, and she's like, no, he's not. And that's when, like, we talked for a second. My mom is going on about, like, doppelgangers and stuff, which I never really, like, you know how I am with, like, the paranormal stuff. Like, before I go, like, jumping to that kind of conclusion, I need to cross off everything from the list and figure out exactly what it's not before I can kind of decide what I think it is, because that's just how I am. So that was bizarre, and it was so weird, like, looking back on it, like, after I talked to my mom and realized that in fact was not my stepdad. But it was so weird because I was thinking back to, like, that weird smirk, you know, I talked about, where it was like kind of that, like, smirk you give to a stranger, but there was something, like, kind of, and looking back on it, it was almost like evil. Like, there was like an underlying, like, it was really, really weird. What's the definition for a doppelganger? Let's look it up. Are they, like, supposed to be evil or something?
Doppelganger.
An apparition or double of a living person. What does it mean when you have a doppelganger? A doppelganger is a mysterious exact double of a living person. It's a German word that literally translates to double walker or double goer. A doppelganger isn't someone who just resembles you, but is an exact double, right down to the way you walk, talk, act, and dress. Okay, so yeah, like, literally, I don't know why this is the first time I'm looking this up. I think I was like, this happened like probably close to a year ago, but I think I was just like so shook in the moment, I just wanted to like forget about it, because it's so weird. And why would it be, like, here? Like, I thought if you had doppelgangers, they were, like, elsewhere in the world or whatever, but he's got to be local. And the thing that's also weird is I am not even exaggerating when I say I go into that grocery store, like, once a day, at least. Maybe if I'm being 100% zero exaggeration, I'm going in there at least once or twice every other day, because, you know, I work every day and I catch a bus home, and since I have to walk right past it to get to my house, I think, oh, like, maybe I'll get something different for dinner, or maybe I'll, you know, grab a drink because I'm really thirsty and it's hot outside. Like, I'm always in that store. And I live in, I guess where I live in Charleston, like, Charleston as a whole is like a fairly big city for what my state is. This is a really small state, but I live in like a little subsection of the city that's kind of its own, like, almost unincorporated thing. It has its own name. So I live in that part, and so this is a pretty small area. Like, most people that I see around here, I've seen before. Every day when I go into that grocery store, I mean, nobody looks like super unfamiliar, because most people have a regular grocery store they go into, you know? So, like, I can go in there and, like, be like, oh, well, I remember she was here last Saturday. You know what I mean? Like, you know your local area for the most part. Never have I seen this man, like, once again after that experience. And he was there, like, I saw him, he was right there. I talked to him, I made an ass out of myself in front of whatever man or being or freaking skinwalker, whatever this was, like, it was right there. And I have never seen this man, like, not a single trace. It was like nothing ever happened. I figure if he is a local that shops there, I would have seen him at least one other time, and then maybe I could go up to him and be like, hey man, sorry about that. I thought you were my stepdad, considering literally every single detail about you is exactly him. A friend or even a close relative who encounters your doppelganger will swear it was you, even though you can prove you were not in the location the double was sighted. I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm gonna have a panic panic attack. This happened like a year ago, and I am going to I'm reliving it, and I'm going to have a freaking panic attack. Why did this happen to me? Nobody is ever in a million years going to believe this happened to me. I'm going to be freaking Tana Moja for the rest of my life telling story times that people say is fake. Because honestly, if I was listening to the story, I would 150,000% think it was fake. But this is a real actual thing. I wish I had some kind of concrete proof. I wish somebody else had been there to see it, because this is the wildest shit. I literally experienced it and I don't even believe it. Why? Okay, doppelgangers are real. They are real. I don't know about ghosts, I don't know about demons. I feel like Bigfoot is highly, highly likely, but that's a whole different thing we'll touch on another day. But this shit is straight up real. 100%. More than 100%. 1,000,000,000%. This is real. Many reports of doppelgangers are probably cases of mistaken identity, but such an explanation becomes harder to accept when they are seen by best friends, siblings, and parents who know the real person intimately. This is me. This describes what I have been through. Why is this is this a regular common occurrence? This happens to other people, because I've never heard anyone else. I always heard of doppelgangers as a myth. I've never had any first-hand accounts from anybody I've known in my life, or even people on the internet that I trust as a credible source. This is weird. It seems hard to believe that they would be fooled by another person who simply resembles the original, and how likely is it that they would have the exact same haircut and clothes as so often reported? I promise you, I did not look this up previously. This is just literally the first article I brought up on Google when I googled doppelganger definition. I didn't read this because after that happened, like I said, that was something I just wanted to because I was still mildly embarrassed, because okay, I realized that wasn't my stepdad. I have really bad anxiety, and I just went up to this strange man and got all up in his business and, calling him by my stepdad's name. He probably thinks I'm fucking nuts. Another explanation for this phenomenon, and no less mysterious, is bilocation? Bilocation? I can't pronounce that. I was an English major. It's probably for the best that I dropped out of college, because apparently I wasn't good at it. A psychic projection of yourself in every detail that can appear in another place. This phantom self can even interact with other people. What? But it wasn't me. It was my stepdad. The role of the doppelganger in fiction. Doppelgangers are frequently used as a plot device in literature, television shows, and movies. They're often evil in nature, which concerns me because he did seem kind of weird. Blah, 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 blah.
Edgar Allan Poe, I remember that story.
While doppelgangers are usually associated with bad luck and ill omens, oh boy, whatever you got to throw at me, I promise I've already been through it, okay? There's nothing else to dish out. Try me, bitch.
Oh. Try me, bitch.
Coming across your doppelganger does not have to be a terrifying experience, but it wasn't my doppelganger. That's weird. That's just weird. Obviously the term doppelganger, I'm sorry, I keep looking at the viewfinder. I promise I'm not obsessed with myself. I'm just checking the time to see how long I've been going on about this and sounding completely insane. But I obviously the term doppelganger came to mind because that's like the article said, that's in movies and TV shows and stuff. So we are all very familiar with the term. So of course that's the first thing my mind thinks. But despite that, I've never had a full understanding of a doppelganger. I mean, obviously I knew what it is. I knew it was supposed to be an evil twin type thing, but it's not a twin. It's this other being, a totally separate person, but I didn't know it was that exact. You know what I mean? Literally with real life accounts of doppelgangers, yeah, they had the same haircut. Family members were saying, no, that was you. I saw you. You were there. To think that somebody else has experienced this in their life. Because besides something kind of paranormal, like a doppelganger, how do you explain that? Please tell me, what are the chances? Because it's not even okay, say this was just a man with the same haircut and the same glasses those things can happen. My stepdad keeps like this like high top military haircut because he was in the Marine Corps. Like, okay, that's a pretty popular haircut. His hair is just like black, just black. Alright, no problem. Glasses, I'm sure that company or designer of his glasses made other pairs of those glasses. Like, duh. Nothing there. The shirt, like, the pants, okay, like I said, he dresses like a typical dad. That's nothing that outlandish. The cat food, okay, like, crazy we're at the point we're in that much detail, but cat food is cat food. Like, that's a popular brand. Sure, why not? But literally, like, the facial features, like, even the height. Okay, he's tall. Like, a lot of guys are tall, but just the fact that he had the exact same face. Like, it's not even like, okay, they had similar bone structure. Like, they had the same color eyes. No, they had the exact same face. Like, straight up the same face. Like, if I didn't personally know his brother and know he just had a younger brother, I would have swore to God that he had a twin brother, like an identical twin brother, and like I'd seen him there. Like, it was so perfect that it wasn't even like, you know how like when people are identical twins, a good part of the time you can still tell like which twin is who, you know, because even though they look just alike, they still have very specific defining features. Like, maybe one has wider set eyes, maybe one's a little bit shorter. You know, you can still tell them apart. They're still individuals. But no, this man, straight up, I know I keep repeating myself and it's annoying, but I just, again, I need you to be right here with me. I need you to understand. It was straight up my stepdad. I can't believe that. Okay. Weird. So weird. So weird. I don't even know if I told him about that. I know I told Mom. I can't remember if I told him. I think I was like scared to, because it was weird. It was like, you know how like the article said that seeing doppelgangers was bad luck? Or I don't know if it's only seeing your doppelganger is bad luck, or if it's just any doppelganger of somebody you know, but it was weird because after that happened, other than the anxiety of like, oh my god, I just, you know, went up to a stranger and acted like I knew them, like, all that aside, after it happened, the feeling I had was so uncomfortable, like, something was wrong, and not even that, like, something bad was gonna happen, or just, like, something was up in that moment, something was not okay, like, within me. So it was really weird. So I feel like I was kind of scared to tell him just because like it was that bizarre. But I don't know, maybe this will be a fun family story around the campfire one day. Yeah, hands down the weirdest thing ever, because that was something that I could not just write off as my own like crazy PTSD brain. Like, that was an actual experience that nobody could doubt, like that he was there. It's not like seeing a ghost or like hearing a noise or like, oh, that book fell off the shelf. Like, that was an actual human person, as far as we know. Maybe human. Okay, that's enough spooky fun time for the day. If I can think of anything else weird, like I said, I have memory issues, so sometimes it's hard for like things to come back to me, but that was something I will never in my life forget. That it was different. It was different. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it's not makeup. I know a lot of people want to see me do makeup. I don't know why. I'm not good at it, but I do enjoy it, so I'll try to do one of those soon. I just kind of have to do the videos that I want to do, like, as I'm inspired. I don't ever want to force myself to do something, because that's how you get burnout, and I've always loved YouTube, and I'm very passionate about it, and I want to enjoy the content I put out, whether it benefits me in any way otherwise, but I just genuinely love this. This is, like, of all the 10 billion hobbies I have, this is definitely my number one. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. Have fun. Be safe. Look both ways before you cross the street. If you see your stepdad in Walmart or Kroger or Whole Foods, it's probably not your stepdad. Bye.